Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. This is the second time recording this voiceover because I put one of those paper screen protector type things on my iPad and it covered up the microphone and I didn't realize, so love that for me. Anyways, we're doing the October bullet journal spreads. The theme this month is going to be Coraline. I had suggestions from other people to do a horror movie theme. I'm not really a big horror movie person. I've only seen a couple, so I decided to do something in the middle and do Coraline, which was a horror movie to me as a child. Definitely scared me the first time around that I watched it. I watched it at a sleepover, probably when I was like a little too young to watch it. So I have since rewatched it. Does not scare me the same. I think it's really just the jump scares. Like the premise doesn't really creep me out. It's the jump scares. So anyways, the first title page was the other mother's hand holding a Coraline doll. I think the other name for that is the Beldam hand. Not 100% sure with that. You will see what we're doing with the calendar spread when I get into the coloring phase, and then moving right into the habit tracker, I decided to do the beetle wallpaper from Coraline's bedroom. So it was very painstaking. It's not quite symmetrical, but I did try my best, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely one of my favorite spreads this month. And for my mood tracker, they are in fact not bubbles, they are buttons. So I did put them all on strings to kind of add to that creepy little sewing vibe that the whole movie gives off. As you can see, some food arrived. Had a little break there to eat some pizza because it literally took me all day to do these spreads. I'm not even kidding. My hand was extremely sore at the end of this because I did all the line art and all of the coloring all in one day. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. Anyways, moving into the first week, I wanted to do the tools from the opening scene of Coraline where they're like changing the doll. And half these tools are sewing tools and half of them are surgical instruments, which is one of those little Easter eggs. So for this whole bullet journal, I wanted to do very iconic moments or things from the movie, which is why I chose to do, like the beetle wallpaper or the toolkit here that I'm doing. And it's because a lot of the Easter eggs are hidden in these really iconic moments, and I wanted to add all of those. So you may notice that my weekly spreads are set up a little bit differently compared to normal. And no, it's not because they're mostly all single page spreads with the exception of the first week. It's because I have that big box that says tasks, and then each week day is a much smaller box compared to normal. So the reason that I'm doing that is because if you've watched any of my recent videos, I've talked about how I was starting the perioperative program so that I could be a nurse in the operating room. And what I found out after I did all of my September spreads was that the course is entirely asynchronous and like self-led. So there is no scheduled, like you have to be in lecture from this time, this day. Like there's none of that. So yeah, there's no set timeline for anything. Like there's due dates for assignments. But because there is so much work that you have to do, they did provide a weekly calendar of like, these are the things you should be doing each week. So I figured it was easier for me to just have a list of tasks to complete that week. And then if there's any appointments, events, anything like that, I can write those in the smaller boxes under each specific day. So for week 2, I decided to draw the Coraline doll on the chair that's in her bedroom. And week 3 is the Pink Palace apartment sign that is quite prominent in one of the opening scenes when you see Coraline driving up to the apartment complex. Week 4 is that iconic welcome home cake. Why I didn't use my little circle thing to draw this, I don't know, but whatever, it's a lopsided cake. The reason this one is so iconic is because it says welcome home with the double loop in the cursive of home. So it means she's welcome, but she is not home. I kept the cursive for the boxes too. Just to tie everything together. And then finally for week 5, we have one of the little circus mice on top of the ball. I think this one's called like the conductor mouse, Babinski's conductor mouse, I think. I'm not really sure. I thought he was the cutest out of all of them. I would have added more, but my pages are smaller than I planned in my head. So I only had room for one of them plus all 7 days and my task box. So, and then each little circle is one of the little star balls. There we go. Now we move into the coloring. It took approximately half of my marker collection, as well as layering of markers in order to get the colors that I wanted, because the whole movie has, I don't want to say weird colors, but like very specific colors that are hard to replicate when you have a limited color selection. So they're not perfect. The way things are colored is not perfect, but I did my best. Now this looks a little funky, but you may be able to recognize it right away. I figured that it was actually easier to color this if I covered the calendars. So look at that big brain idea. Anyways, this made it significantly easier. And if you haven't already guessed by now, we're doing the tunnel in between Coraline's room to like the other world. I don't remember what name it is, but did all the colors and then added some black and outlined the calendar in black just to make it pop a little bit more. I think this actually turned out really cool. I was very skeptical at first because I was like, oh god, this is looking like shit, but it turned out. And then we move into that beetle wallpaper. At first I debated leaving it just like black and white so you could really see all the details, and then I caved and colored it. So I chose 2 greenish blue like teal colors that were similar to the reference picture I was looking at, and first colored in all of the little beetle and flower details with that lighter color, and then outlined everything with the darker color before filling in everything with the darker color, just so that I didn't like go outside of the lines and cause chaos. So I left the entire calendar section and where the title, it says habits there, all white just so that they would really pop. The font that I used, I found on Pinterest, and it's like Coraline's cat's font or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a free download available. I was just like looking at them and then doing it on the side. I guess I didn't film me adding the colors to the buttons to signify, you know, your mood. I chose blue, yellow, red, and black because those are very prominent colors throughout the movie. In particular, the blue, yellow, and black, but I added the red mostly because of this. And the circus. So the toolbox in the opening scene is very gross and dirty, but it looks like at one point the felty, carpety bit in the back of the toolbox, it was red. So I started with a red base coat, and then it looked like there's like leather type straps holding the tools in place. So did those in brown and then colored in the tools with a base coat of gray. The fishhook looking tools were definitely yellow handled, and then I just carried that over to the steam ripper tools. Once everything had a base coat on top of it, I went in with the dirtying and I want to say moldifying, rustifying of all of the tools because they are gross and used. With the exception of this pair of scissors, in the actual movie, it's very difficult to tell kind of what the tools are covered in. Like the scissors obviously look rusty, so I just carried that over through the rest of the tools. I made them look dirty, rusted. There's even some green, like I don't know if it's mold or greenery that I decided to throw in there. Copied that over for all 4 little sections and toned down the red by adding some gray over top of it. Then I cut out that page and my Dutch door was done. Next we move on to that Coraline doll. I colored it the exact same way that I did the one on the title page. You'll even see me go back and double check that I'm coloring her shirt correctly. Right here. And then the chair that she's sitting on is actually supposed to be significantly darker than it is, but I wanted you to be able to actually see the details that I colored in, so I chose to just do it a regular brown color. This is definitely one of my favorite spreads. I just love the little shading and whatnot that I did on the doll. I think she's so cute, so I love that. Anyways, moving on to the Pink Palace sign. I did cover it with this salmon pink color first, and then went over it with a orangish red kind of vermilion color to get as close as I could to the actual sign. Then did the fine liner to do the like drop shadow part of the calligraphy. It may look like I ran out of space when drawing the Pink Palace part, but that's actually what it looks like in the movie. So I thought that was an interesting little detail. Then for the welcome home, as you can see, I'm going over everything, the line art that I did, in red. Now, I would have originally done it in red if I'd thought about that earlier, but as the quote goes, hindsight is 20/20, foresight's never more than a blur. So you live and you learn. Anyways, going in, coloring that cake now. The welcome home got kind of muted when I added the icing color, so I did go over it once again. And then there was a bunch more mixing of colors for the plate and the candles and everything, just to make sure that everything was sort of the right color. And finally, we move into the cute little mouse. His skin color is the exact same as the Coraline dolls, and then I just added some brown to do some shading. And then his suit is red, the same red that I've been using throughout, but the yellow is a more golden yellow color instead of the bright yellow for the raincoat of Coraline's. And then I just colored these little circles because they're meant to be the little circus balls red as well. And that's everything. So here's the final flip through. I still don't know what I'm doing for that first page, so I left it blank. I think it's going to be a content calendar. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Mondays, sometimes Wednesdays, usually twice a month. I'm working on improving that. Anyways, I'm in love with these spreads. I hope you are too. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next videos for more special October spooky content.